2024 marked a landmark year in pop music history. I'll be honest when I say that pop has been in a decline since the mid-2010s. The last summer, this jam-packed with hit singles, big albums, and just wonderful theatrics was probably 2014, 10 years ago. Honestly, just about everyone dropped new music. Each week it seemed like I had something new to review, starting in early May to just about this week. While I can finally take a breather, I just wanted to recap and celebrate who I think made the most of this summer. This list expands beyond just the pop girls, but I have to say that women dominated this year in terms of output and quality. This video will focus on the biggest winners of the summer, as well as artists who may have underperformed expectations, but even then I do think just about everyone contributed something worthwhile, whether it was good music or food for thought. The summer of 2024, many consider Brat Summer, will be one for the books. I'm honestly worried that next year won't come remotely close. So let's talk about the big winners. I mentioned Brat Summer, but I need to talk about how surreal it was to have Charli XCX emerge as a main pop girl this year. I started this channel talking about Charli almost 6 years ago about how she deserved to be a bigger artist, and now she is charting songs on Billboard, creating marketing trends, and even influencing a presidential election. Charli kicked off Brat early into the year with Von Dutch, an acclaimed electro-clash song that just did not make any commercial noise. Her now iconic cover art was panned by observers earlier on. It really seemed like this era was not going to smash, but then we got 360 in late May. Before the album had actually dropped in early June and went on to become Metacritic's highest rated album of the year, it debuted in the top 3 in the States and has gone on to dominate online culture even now. Charli did not let up the entire summer, revealing bonus tracks, releasing star-studded remixes with Lorde and Billie Eilish, the latter peaking at 12, making it Charli's biggest hit since 10 years ago with Boom Clap. She even got a TikTok dance to an album track Apple, which has gone on to hit 51 on the charts despite not being promoted or released to radio. Brat has become a phenomenon that everyone wanted to be a part of, a communal experience of older, vindicated Angel veterans to newer fans discovering Charli for the first time. While she didn't commercially match her cultural impact, I do think that Brat has been a watershed moment for Charli XCX and one of the most fun records to follow the entire summer. Charli may have declared Brat Summer over earlier this month, but there is still a whole remix album on the way this October, as well as an ongoing Sweat tour that she is co-headlining with Troye Sivan. What Charli does next after Brat is a mystery to us all, but we are all tuned in for what's next. I found that a common theme of this summer was underappreciated artists finally getting their due diligence. Charli has languished in the system since starting in 2011. A fellow rising superstar who made her mark this year was hitting 10 years of a career herself. Sabrina Carpenter, who represented the more traditional side of pop this year to great effect. Bolstered by her first proper top 3 smash single, Espresso, that's still charting high to this day, Carpenter has parked herself at the top of the charts for the summer with 2 other smash singles, Please 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 and Taste. All of these songs showcased her range and her talent and have helped launch her second big girl record, Short and Sweet, which has spent 3 weeks at the top of the charts and is one of this year's best-selling records. Carpenter has worked her butt off for nearly 10 years. She was just fresh off an opening act slot on the Eras Tour, and it all paid off, and then some. She is set to be a huge contender at the upcoming Grammys. She just gave us an iconic VMAs performance. I've made quite a few videos over the summer showcasing her career and her records. Seeing how far she has come from the Disney Channel days is amazing to witness. Carpenter's witty songwriting chops, her excellent ear for a melody, and her enchanting voice makes her the whole package. I think with her combined existing experience, she's going to become a pop princess that we will hear about for years to come. Objectively speaking, she was the pop princess that killed it on the charts this year. Another overdue pop star was Chappell Roan, who really broke out after her debut record, The Rise and Fall of a Midwestern Princess, had dropped last year. Chappell had gone through a lot, a label breakup, then a real breakup, having to move home and then come back to LA to finish what she started, and then blowing up on the spot, opening for Olivia Rodrigo and even performing at Coachella. Her breakout song Good Luck Babe elevated her to new heights. It even caused some of her older tracks to chart, and one of these was Hot to Go, which hit the top 20 and became the Macarena of 2024. Every club that I went to played this track, and everyone knew the dance. It's worth noting that Chapel's rise happened so fast that she's openly discussing her disdain for the spotlight through interviews and a post about parasocial fans. It has opened some really interesting discourse about our relationship to our idols and how the newer generation of stars just don't seem to take BS. All this being said, I think that she might actually walk away with a few Grammys herself. She's been quiet about her next moves, but we are all tuned in for the next record. We may see her smash another summer. At the same time, older familiar names also did pretty well. Grammy darling Billie Eilish released Hit Me Hard and Soft, her third record and likely a favorite for the AOTY nomination. The album is her most acclaimed work to date. It is a tight collection of 10 tracks spawning different sounds and genres. It has created 3 hits, lead single and queer anthem Lunch, Chihiro, and the global worldwide smash Birds of a Feather, which has become a #1 hit around the world and was performed at the Olympics this year. Eilish also made a trip to the world of Brat where she jumped on a remix for Guess with Charlie XCX. And of course, we cannot forget Taylor Swift, whose tortured poet departments and its many variants went on to take 15 weeks at the top of the charts non-consecutively, despite lacking a major hit single beyond its lead single Fortnite, which only lasted 20 weeks on the charts. This album was the most consumed record of the summer, showing that Swiftie fever is still at an all-time high. Taylor is set to wrap up her Eras tour, which was revamped for TTPD, and she will be back likely sooner than we think, possibly next summer. It was not a cruel summer for her. Megan Thee Stallion proved going independent doesn't mean you have to flop. Her latest record, Megan, solely released by her and her team, debuted in the top 3 and has spawned 4 top 40 singles. The latest being Mamushi, a track that features Japanese rapper Yuki Chiba, a surprise hit. Megan also hosted the VMAs. She was a shining spot in an interesting show. With her newfound freedom, Megan is no longer hostage to album cycles and can drop things whenever she wants, and Act 2 for Megan is rumored to be on the way. She has built a fan base of hotties ready for whatever comes. I can't not bring up Kendrick Lamar, who absolutely destroyed Drake this year. Kendrick smashed earlier this year with Future and Metro Booming's Like That, but April onwards, he was releasing like diss track after diss track against Drake, who just could not keep up with the volume. Of all of these tracks, Not Like Us emerged one of the summer's biggest anthems. This song did not even have a full tracking week, but it went #1. Produced by Mustard, and just an excellently written track. This is a mic drop for the times. And Drake was catching strays for being a creeper, being broke, profiteering off Atlanta's rap culture, just the whole works. Kendrick is now set to run the halftime show next year and appear in the upcoming Lego biopic for Pharrell Williams. I'm honestly excited about that. I love Pharrell. On the other side of things, country continued to kill it this year, with Shaboozey taking home the longest running #1 hit this year with a bar song, Tipsy. Shaboozey was fresh off his features on Cowboy Carter and capitalized. He actually replaced Texas Hold'em at the top of the country charts and became the first black man in history to top both the Hot 100 and the country charts at the same time. A bar song which recontextualizes Jaquan's throwback smash Tipsy was a staple at parties and bars. I heard it all summer. This song is expected to continue its reign at the top well into the summer's end until someone drops a surprise release. Post Malone had a pretty killer year too, appearing on Taylor Swift's latest #1 Fortnite and a Beyonce song, but he also went full country this year, releasing F1 Trillion, his latest album. One of the summer hits that he released this year was I Had Some Help with Morgan Wallen, which broke many country records. And of course, while I have mentioned some pretty big names, you did not have to break records to have a splash this summer. Addison Rae ended the summer with her first ever Hot 100 hit, Diet Pepsi, a chill pop ballad that has become a sleeper smash on repeat for me. Blackpink alumni Lisa, signed to RCA Records, thank you for correcting me on the last video by the way guys, dropped 2 singles that have built her stateside following, Rockstar and New Woman with Rosalia. Both of these tracks are excellent and bode well for her. Tinashe's Nasty 2 went viral and spawned her first proper hit as an indie artist, so small steps become big leaps. As shown earlier, these stars could become the next It Girls next summer. And lastly, we need to talk about the biggest winner in the room, and that was us, the listeners. Yeah, it's really corny to say out loud, but there was something for everyone across different genres. Whether you were into alt, rap, country, or plain pop, you got quality music each week. It has been so much fun discussing music with you guys in the comments each week. I have reviews for just about everything that I've covered, so definitely check those out, and we're on to the next category. A cruel summer. With so many releases each week, not everybody was bound to have a hit, let's be real. This section isn't necessarily to shade or, drag anybody, but these are the people who got lost in the noise despite putting out some pretty interesting work. Also included are some general concepts that I ran into, and, well, Drake. I hate to say it, but Dua Lipa's Radical Optimism just was not the smash follow-up to Future Nostalgia everyone was hoping for. Despite having some pretty good initial sales in the state, the album has petered out without a big hit. Illusion was the last big single push, and while it had a decent run, it failed to match the success of any of the previous tracks. Radical Optimism also received some pretty mixed reviews despite being one of the more pleasant listens and one of my favorite records to put on repeat this summer. The record honestly grew on me, and I do think that there is going to be a big demand for the tour. Still, one has to wonder what could have been with better management and better single choices. Camila Cabello was robbed blind by a confused label strategy and just getting lost in the shuffle. Guys, I don't care what you think. XOXO just received a deluxe edition, go listen to that. It was a bold, artistic reinvention of a pop star whose identity had always been somewhat of an enigma. It is criminal to me that with tracks as good as June Gloom and Boat, that this album was just pushed the way that it was. Whether or not it was hate trains, unfavorable comparisons to Charlie XCX's Brat, or just really bad luck, I think it's that. My heart goes out to Camila Cabello, who honestly should still tour this album. I think that her and Dua can honestly turn their fortunes around and rebuild momentum with their tours. They are performers first and foremost. Post-album singles definitely proved to be an issue for people this year, particularly with 2 huge stars' recent singles being solid proof that streaming has kind of killed any chances for late song releases. Ariana Grande's brilliant The Boy Is Mine received a stunning music video and a solid remix with Brandy and Monica, but it failed to re-peak higher than its initial debut at 19. The same one for Taylor Swift's glittery I Can Do It With a Broken Heart, an early favorite of fans off TTPD. A great touring music video and even a label push just did not move the needle for that track either. In the digital sales era, albums would spawn as many as 5 to 6 top 10 hits within the end of the cycle. Nowadays, it seems like 3 is asking for a lot, and that may be due to how streaming works. Concert prices were also ridiculously high this year. Artists who weren't even at the top of their game were charging hundreds for lower bowl. Some of the artists who were not arena-size popular went for arenas this year and charged high prices only to have half-empty stadiums. I don't want to crusade against streaming. I think streaming is how music is consumed nowadays. It's how I use music, but the labels are using these numbers to determine tour sizes and pricing, and sometimes streaming just isn't reality. Fans are losing out on the chance to see their favorites live, artists end up looking embarrassed to half-empty stadiums, and, people are losing money and interest. No one is winning here. Back to artists, Drake lost the feud and is on the defense. That is all I'm going to say about in this section. I also think that he's partially to blame for XOXO's underperformance. Poor luck on her team for including not just a feature with him. Hot Uptown is a good song, don't get me wrong, but he also had a track on the album that just did not need to be there. Oof. Last but not least is someone whose journey is not quite over just yet, Katy Perry. I already discussed the tragically bad lead single to 143, Woman's World, but this album has just not been doing it for her. Lifetime's yet another Dr. Luke produced generic dance track failed to debut altogether. It's looking like her collaboration with Doechii, I'm His, He's Mine, which I honestly thought wasn't that bad, is heading for a similar fate. Katy just won a Vanguard at the VMAs and delivered one of the best televised performances of her life. I am certain that the 143 tour is going to be a saving grace if she focuses on her greatest hits, but the record itself I'll be covering with its own video later this week. My hopes aren't too high on it, but who knows, it could be a last minute surprise. To wrap things up, it has been an honor and just so much fun covering the Pop Girl Summer of 2024. Brat Summer has just been a blast. And next summer has its work cut out for itself, but this one is going in for the books as one of the greats of the decade. I think this was the first true post-pandemic summer of music, from its tone to variety. If next summer is even half as good as this one, that's a win for me. And that's a wrap. Thank you so much for tuning into this quick recap video. I honestly just had to talk about who I thought won the summer. I want to give a shout out to my members. Thank you so much for supporting this channel. And I do want to shout out my subscribers. You guys have grown so much over the summer. You guys keep me making content, and it is just so much fun responding to you guys. And now that the release volume has finally dropped a little bit, I can revisit some albums that I've been meaning to, and I will continue making content for you guys. Drop down a comment below to let me know who you thought won the summer, or who you think will win next summer. And I hope to see you next video. Like, subscribe. Thank you so much, guys. Have a great rest of the year, and I will see you next video.